Hey everybody, Cody with Princess Craft RV. Come along with me today as we go through the 2021 TAXA Cricket. So moving right up front here, we're going to do the systems operations and everything on how to get this hooked up and how to use the trailer. So starting right up front here, we're going to ride on your 2-inch ball. And once you get your tow vehicle backed underneath it, using your manual crank tongue jack, you're just going to lower down onto the ball. Once you get down onto it, we're going to pick up on the coupler, slide it forward, and drop it down into the slots. You want to make sure these ears here get down into the slots. That's going to latch on. Now once you get ready to release, it's going to kind of just be the opposite. We're going to pick up and we're going to pull up, kind of up and back at the same time, and that whole coupler should slide back and release. And then again, we can use our manual tongue crank here to raise up off the ball. A couple other things that are going to hook up to your receiver hitch are going to be our safety chains. Now these do need to cross over each other and clip onto the receiver. We're also going to have your 7-way cord here, which is going to run all of your light functions on this as far as tail lights, turn signals, running lights. It's also going to provide a 12-volt charge, and it's also going to send the brake signal and everything to the onboard mounted brake controller on this trailer. Last thing that's going to hook up to your tow vehicle is going to be your safety breakaway cable. Now this cable needs to run its own path, don't weave it through the chains, and it needs to have its own clipping it onto the receiver hitch. They do make an easy upgrade for these. That is a spiraled cord, keeps it up off the ground, and it comes with a carabiner clip already on it. It's very easy upgrade and it looks good and helps. Now like I said, this trailer from TAXA comes equipped with the auto brake, which is going to be this device right here. So there's some pairing features or setup features that you have to do once you kind of get going. If your vehicle already has a brake control installed, it's just going to bypass this unit. This won't even be used. But if you don't need to buy anything extra. As long as everything is in the 7-way that we need as far as a charge line and brake signal from the tow vehicle, this can be programmed and work as it's supposed to. Now moving up here, we're going to have our two 20-pound propane cylinders. For normal operation, we're just going to loosen up these little thumb wheels on top, tip those back, and that's going to allow us to open up the service door, which will give us access to the service valves on our propane cylinders, either turning them on or off. Now to actually remove the cylinders, you're going to undo this little bungee strap that's on the bottom, and we can then lift this cover off. Now we'll need to remove this for servicing of your cylinders to take one and get it refilled or exchanged. To remove one from the trailer, first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that valve is closed. So if we're going to remove this cylinder, we're going to make sure that service valve is closed. Then we can go ahead and remove our service hose. We're going to loosen up our wing nut here. We just need that loose enough to where we can then tip our cylinder out, and then go take this and get it refilled or exchanged. Just remember, anytime you're transporting this style cylinder, that it is in the upright position for your safety. If you've got the dust cap, go ahead and put it on to protect your fittings and everything there. Once you get it back and you're ready to put it back on the trailer, we're just going to fish it back on there. Okay, once we get it there, I like to go ahead and hook up my service hose first, just in case if I need to rotate the cylinder or anything, I can do that before I tighten down on our wing nut. Once we get there, we're just going to snug down the wing nut. This does not need to be cranked down on overly tight, just snug. We're just trying to keep the cylinders in place so they don't fall off. Now once we're here, we're back into normal operation. Again, you can open that cylinder if you want. We recommend running these in what we call manual mode. So keep one cylinder on, one cylinder off, and using our changeover valve right here to decide which cylinder we want to use. So right now, if we wanted to use this cylinder, we would go ahead and have this service valve open, this one closed. When this cylinder goes empty, we're going to open this one up, and then we would rotate our service valve and close this cylinder off, and then go get it refilled or exchanged. It's a good way to always keep up with your propane. If you have them both open, that thing's going to automatically switch when one goes empty. You're never going to know exactly where you're at. They do make some monitor levels that you can put on these to help with that. But again, I really like it doing it the other way. That way you always know when one cylinder is empty and you're moving on to the next one. Do have a couple of vents here on the front. Not much to do with those. Do have your outside shower connection here. It's going to be a quick connect fitting. It's going to go on the little blue hose, coil hose up that you're going to get with it. Now the easiest thing to do with these is make sure you don't turn the water onto this before you try to hook this up. It's going to make it difficult to hook up. So make sure the water's off. You're going to push the collar back. It's just like kind of hooking up an air hose if you ever done that. You're going to push the collar back. We're going to take the nipple and we're going to push it in. So once you get that all hooked up, then we're just going to choose hot and cold water here. So if you just want cold water, just use the cold knob. If you want to get hot or mix it up just like you would any shower. And then you've got your spray head. You're also going to have a multi-spray head that comes as an option for this trailer to use, so you can have different type of spray patterns. Now this trailer is going to be equipped with 4-corner stabilizer jacks. They're going to be the slotted drive style. It's going to be this crank handle that comes with the trailer here. It's going to fit right onto your stabilizer jack, such as that. And then you'll use this to crank those up and down. Now these are to be run to the ground after the trailer is leveled side to side and leveled front to back. Then you run your stabilizers down and you just apply a light amount of pressure to them to help stabilize the trailer. Now they do make a drill attachment that you can put into a drill to run these up and down to kind of make life a little easier if you're open to carrying an electric drill with you. Moving around to the side of the trailer here, starting up top is going to be your 110 service connection on this trailer. It does look like a standard 30 amp 110 connection here. They do provide this little dog bone adapter. So it is going to be your 30 amp connection here, but it's going to be a standard 15 amp electrical cord connection on this side. So this is all that comes with the trailer. So you will want to get a heavy duty extension cord to go with the trailer. But to get that put on, you're just going to line up your L plugs, give it a little twist, and then you still want to use the plastic collar and get this all locked on here and get it snug down. We still want good tight connections, even though we're not running a full-size 30 amp connection. And then you would take your extension cord and run this to the outlet. Just below that's going to be our city water connection. We're just going to take this cap, undo the cap here, and then we're going to be able to thread in our freshwater hose with a water pressure regulator, water filter, all that good stuff. Now TAXA has rated this system at 125 PSI max. That's a lot of pressure. Most manufacturers don't like to see more than probably 50, 55. 125 is pretty high. I like 50 to 55 because I know everything's going to stay together at that point. But that's where you would hook up and control that. It's going to be your Truma exhaust right here. So when you're running your Truma in this unit for hot water or heating of the trailer, all your exhaust is going to come out here. So this can get warm, so just don't burn yourself. And just below that, we're going to find your portable solar plug connection. It's going to allow you to plug in a portable solar panel and help keep your batteries on board charged up. Now moving just below the trailer here, we are going to find your gray water drain, which is going to be this valve right here. Now it's already set up with your 90-degree elbow here. So you're going to be able to thread a gray water drain or black water drain hose right onto here. Instead of using a full-size sewer hose, it's going to be a drain hose. It's going to thread on right here and run over to the dump where you'll want to use a gray water drain seal, or you'll want to collect everything into a portable tote. And you can keep that drain valve open pretty much the whole time unless you want to collect that gray water for anything. Moving on back, we're going to have our wheels and tires. Talking about wheels and tires, tire pressure, you're going to want to maintain this just like you do on your car. Don't wait till it gets cold outside to check your tire pressure. It is a very good idea to check tire pressure every time before you hit the road, just like checking your wheel lug torque, just to make sure you don't want to have a blowout or lose a wheel or anything like that on what's supposed to be your vacation. It's a quick check, just do it, and you will appreciate it in the long run. Now TAXA has their sticker up here about checking wheel lugs. Their predetermined mileage based on this is 10, 25, and 50 miles. And it says to check the torque to manufacturer specification. So they are going to have a spec on what this is supposed to be torqued to. Now on the driver's side of the trailer, just underneath our running board here, you will see our freshwater tank drain. It's just going to be that gray turn valve there. You can turn that and drain that freshwater tank out. Just behind that, we're going to have our portable water, our potable water fill. It's just gonna pop the cap off. We're gonna take and put our water hose in there. You're gonna fill that fresh water tank up until it kind of gushes back out at you. Carry that with you, and then you'll use your water pump to extract that water. Now you do have a running board on the side of the trailer that can give you some access to the roof panel if you do have anything that goes up here. You do have a snap-on AC cover that's gonna go over the AC, and it just snaps on around. This is gonna help protect your air conditioner while you're traveling down the road. It is a good idea to keep it in place, kind of protect our fins out here on the outside to keep it running as it should. But other than that, some normal condensation drip from this is typical, as with any air conditioner. So moving on around to the back door of the trailer, the back door of the Cricket. It's going to have a regular entry door handle on it, so it's going to have a deadbolt lock as well as a paddle handle lock that you can use, but it just pops open. It's got 2 struts here that are going to help keep it open, but other than that, that's really about it for the back door. Moving on around, again, we do have another running board on the driver's side or door side of the trailer. Underneath, we will find your spare tire back here in the back, and we will also find your freshwater tank. Again, wheels and tires, same thing's gonna go for this side. Just behind the fender on the driver's side, we will find an exterior 12-volt accessory port. So you can plug in, charge your cell phone, things like that there. Entry door here is gonna operate just like our rear door, except it's gonna open to the side. And we are gonna have a door hold back here that's gonna use a kind of a ball and socket. You're just gonna take this and push it all the way back into the rubber holder there. And you'll kind of hear kind of a light pop when it goes in. That's going to give a good hold on that to keep the door open for you. And I think that pretty much covers the exterior of the 2021 TAXA Cricket. We will go over how to raise and lower the roof panel at the end of this video. All right, coming into our 2021 TAXA Cricket. Just a couple things in here. Coming right inside the door, safety feature here. Fire extinguisher. It's going to have your gauge on the front of it there for pressure. Look at that periodically. Make sure it stays in the green. If it ever drops out of the green, get a new one. Keep it on board to keep yourself safe. Moving up to our sink area here. We're going to have hot and cold water coming out of our sink. All we have to do is rotate this knob all the way to the forward wall. Is going to be completely hot. Somewhere between there and off is how you're going to mix it. Now to store this, you're going to want to rotate the head and you want to push it down into the sink, and that way you can close the glass cover. Now as far as lighting up your cooktop, it's going to have an electric ignition on it, just the button that you push here in the middle. So all you've got to do is turn this to the light section, and then we're going to push the igniter there, and you can see our flame lights right up. Once you get it lit, you're just going to set your temperature or your flame height to get your things cooking. Make sure you're using smaller cooking dishes than what you would typically use at home. These are smaller things. We don't want to generate too much heat. Now, anytime you've been cooking, we do highly recommend that you let your burners cool completely before closing the glass cover. And to get this to close, you do have to lift up on it slightly to get it to unlock, and then just close it gently so you don't damage it. Other things that we've got going up here, some LED light strips and everything. A lot of controls underneath our sink here, so let's go over this real quick. So our first one here, kind of you can see we have like a house. So this is going to essentially be like your trailer. So these are going to be exterior lights right here. So this is going to be some patio lights or your strip lighting on the outside of the trailer. This one here shows kind of under the house. So this is actually going to be your entry step light switch. And this one here is going to be your kitchen area. And this is going to be your water pump switch. And then each one of these has its own fuse here. And then we have some other fuses down here for your cooktop, some heating, hot water, things like that. And we've got your room temperature here for your Truma system. And then we've got your Truma control panel, which is all controlled by rotating through the buttons and turning the system on and off and setting temperatures. We do have a 12-volt outlet here for charging or hooking in 12-volt accessories, as well as a USB charge port. Right next to that's going to be our GFCI outlet with trip and reset on it. So if you're having some 110 operation issues with your outlets, this is a good place to start. You've got your battery disconnect switch, which is going to control all your 12 volt coming into the trailer. And you can see there, we turn everything off when we turn that knob off. Below that's going to be your voltage meter. You can see there we're cooking at 13.1 volts. We are not plugged in. When you plug this into shore power, that's going to go up, probably going to see more like 13.6, maybe as much as 14.2, depending on kind of the state of your batteries. Next to that's going to be our WFCO power distribution panel. You're going to see our 110 breakers on the left, all your 12 volt fuses on the right. Highly recommend that you do pick up a variety of 12 volt fuses to keep aboard in case you have any below on you. We're going to have our Truma exhaust vents down here. Just the 3 vents there are going to be for your Truma furnace output. So below our 3 Truma vents is going to be this little panel here. It's going to have 4 little thumb screws that go in each corner, and this is actually going to be your battery panel. And inside on this trailer, this one's actually been upgraded to AGM batteries. So these are not going to be considered your maintenance style batteries. This is going to be an upgrade. And they are strapped in there. There's no need to check fluid levels or anything like that. These are going to be great batteries for boondocking, dry camping, being connected to solar, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of your next step before making the jump to lithium. So these are going to be really good for this style trailer. So just below our sink, all the way kind of at the floor, we're going to find our LPCO alarm. This thing's it's got a test button right here. It's got some lights on it. Read up on those, see what the lights are. It's also going to make a lot of noise if it does detect any LP gas or CO gas, anything like that. It's going to sound that alarm and it's going to get loud in here. So I'll give you a sign to get outside. Overhead of our kitchen area, we will find our Dometic vent. It's going to be crank open. I'm just going to lift it up. This is going to be a 3-speed vent with the knob here. And then you can choose your direction, whether you want fresh air in or pulling air out and you want to open windows. So moving back into the sleeping area of the Cricket, overhead we're going to find our child's berth sleeping area. So maximum weight of 130 pounds in these overhead. To get these down for use, we're just going to unbungee them. Very simple to undo the bungee, and they just hang like this. You can store this bungee wherever, whatever makes sense for you. But just like that, and then you can put a sleeping bag or something up here for the kids to sleep in. Just remember max weight of 130 pounds here for everything. And then when you get ready to put it back up, I'm just going to wrap the bungee back around it. And strap it back to the ceiling. There, these little bungees that are coming in from the sides, these need to stay in place. This is to pull the canvas in when we get ready to close this down. We're going to find our smoke alarm up here on the ceiling. It's going to be a 9-volt battery inside. Just check it periodically, make sure it's still working, and replace the battery as necessary. Now moving down this wall over here behind me, we are going to find 3 switches. These are going to be our other light switches. So we've got some red accent lighting in here. The top one's going to be our main LED strips down the center of the trailer. And then we do have a couple of clear lights in the back area there at the bottom switch. So the middle one's for the red lights. The top one's going to be for these 2 front lights, and then the bottom one's going to be for the back. Behind this seat over here against this wall, you will find 2 more outlets. We're going to find another 12 volt and then another USB. And then we also find your outlet for your air conditioner there as well. That also has trip and reset on the outlet as well as on the head for the air conditioner. Now all of the seating in this trailer can be strapped up to the wall. So these can open up. The legs are going to rotate to the down position. And then the bungee here just straps back. Sorry about that. Straps back to the wall here, just like that, to keep it open. And all of these will essentially do that. Some have legs, some don't, but this one's going to strap back, and it's going to come back here to that one there to keep it open. This one's going to go to here, and this one's going to have legs on it that are going to stow, and it's going to go to this little slot here. And this will be a good time for us to cover how to make this down into a bed. So to get the tabletop off, you got to push this little release right here, because that's going to latch into the base of the table. So once we get that off, we can set that aside. And then we have to push down on this little black one right here. I like to use my foot just to push on it. And then we're gonna rotate the post loose. Now this post stores under the door side here, just like that, snaps in right there. So we're gonna fold these two seats back down. And then just gonna lay right in here. Now, one of the cool things that TAXA does, if you look at this, is they pretty much notch everything out for you. So it all sits in there nice and neat in one way. Typically there would be a cushion over this, and you would lay those two back ones down and you would have a full-on bed here. So all the window operation in this trailer is pretty similar. If you do the vinyl, they just unzip and they're going to open up, and then you'll have your screen material here. These can roll up kind of like a tent, and then these will strap through to keep them open just like that. Now, as far as your acrylic windows here, they're going to have latches that just open up, and then they're going to have a stay on the side that you will snug down to keep the window open, and you'll want to take those and make them loose to get it to close. And they also have a vent position. So right here, you'll see this middle slot on these. If you pull to that position and latch in, then it will keep the window slightly open and allow some natural ventilation, which is great at on like maybe drizzly days or rainy days, and you just want some normal air, natural air coming in. You can close that down to that position, still get that natural air, but no water. Just remember to make sure you get these latched in all positions on all windows before you hit the road. Now, as far as your coverings go, we do have a insect screen here or a day shade. So at nighttime, if you're using this one and you have the lights on in here, people will be able to see in. So they give you your privacy shade on the other side, which is going to be your darker shade, keep people from seeing in. Now, to separate these, you just lightly pinch up on that clip and you can separate them, and that's going to go for the back door and the door side window there as well. Okay, so now we're going to go over how to open and close the roof assembly on the TAXA Cricket. Now, we're going to leave the lights on for demonstration so you can see, but always make sure you turn your lights off when you close the roof down so we don't end up overheating or causing any burning or anything like that. Even though they are LED, you can still run into issues. So first things first, make sure everything is folded and put away that may be in the way of the roof assembly. Make sure your berths are stowed up. And we're going to grab this front bar right here, and we're just going to pull down. Once we get that released, we're going to come outside the trailer to the tongue. And we're going to grab the handle here, and we're going to pull this shut. Now, as long as all those little bungees are still in place on the inside of the trailer, it should automatically pull the canvas in for you, and you shouldn't need to do anything. But you're going to pull this all the way down to where you can get this front latch into place, and it just snaps in past the catch there. Once you get it down, you can go ahead, pull it down, and we're going to put the safety pin through it, just like that. Once you get that down, we're going to go back inside the trailer, and we're going to do the two roof latches from the inside. Now, there's going to be one of these roof latches on each side of the trailer, and they're going to go to this D-loop right here. One of the biggest things to keep in mind when you're doing this is don't pinch your canvas in there so you damage it if you do. So we want to take your J-hook, push down on this right here and release. Get your J-hook into the D-loop, and then all we're going to do is snap that down and make sure it latches into place. When it's latched, you should not be able to pull that back from the wall. And that goes for both sides. Once that's done, all your lights are off, you're pretty much packed up in this guy and ready to go. Now, to get it to raise it, it's just going to be the opposite. What we're going to want to do is release these latches in here first. So you're going to push on this one here. You can see that it pivots on the side, and that's going to allow us to release it, and then flip our J-hooks out. Do both sides, and then we're going to go back outside the trailer. We're going to jump back on the tongue of the trailer here, undo our safety catch. I do like to pin this in up here so I don't lose it. And then we've got to push this latch right here out of the way and tip this piece out. And then the roof goes up a good ways on its own. It does have some struts on it to help. And then we're going to go back inside. Right here, we're going to push till it snaps into place, and your roof is up and ready to go. Thanks for coming along with me today as we went through the 2021 TAXA Cricket. Hopefully I covered everything. If I missed anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can get us by email, text, or phone call. And again, this is Cody with Princess Craft RV.